The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
It's a track where NASCAR used to finish its racing seasons back in the 90s, and now it's the place where the Premier Racing League will finish their Sportsman Truck Series for the AdvoCare We Build Champions 125. 4 drivers are in the final. However, it's down to a 2-driver show. Scott Eckrich and Jake Wright. They have a commanding lead over James Cavula and Pierre Daigle, but anything can and will happen tonight in Atlanta, Georgia, as we crown one of 3 champions this week in the Premier Racing League during AdvoCare Championship Week. Good evening, I'm Chris Scala. Alongside is Adam Young, Joe Peak, as always, manning the cameras, of course, with the master plan behind the scenes, and Dougie Beard working the cameras. Adam, We're at the finale of a 30-race season for the Sportsman Truck Series, and for the most part, it's down to two drivers, Eckrich and Wright, and with the field actually having about 23 trucks right now, it's safe to say it's down to those two only. Let's talk about the fight and what has to be done tonight for Eckrich to win this championship or have Jake Wright win the title.
Yeah, Eckrich is going to enter this race with about an 8-point lead. He's going to win the title by finishing 4th or better, and if Wright leads a lap, it's going to have to be 6 or better. If Wright leads the most laps and wins, it could have to be 3rd or better. Of course, if Eckrich leads a lap, then it becomes 6 or better again. Wright needs to win the race and have Eckrich finish 5th or worse, or lead the most laps and Eckrich finish 6th or worse. So, anyway, of course, we're here in Atlanta today, Hampton, Georgia. We're talking about a track that's 1.54 miles wide. It's the classic type of quad oval of the mile-and-a-half cookie cutters, NASCAR style, with 24-degree banking here. Of course, it didn't used to be like that. They tore this place apart, all down, right back down to the bedrock in 1997, flipped the front stretch, the back stretch, and all that, and made it into the quad oval that it is today. We're going to be looking at a race that's 82 laps, 60% fuel, and of course 1 to 2 pit stops with that 60% fuel. A fixed setup race, and the weather here for today, of course, got to be the weatherman. 65 degrees, track temperature right now sitting at about 91, so it's going to be a little on the greasy side out there. Winds out of the northwest at about 10 miles per hour. Now, as far as the lap guide goes, well, hey, we're going to send over to Brian Yazik. He took some time out today to go ahead and turn a lap around Atlanta, show you what this place is all about.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. My name is Brian Yazik and I'll be taking you for a spin around Atlanta in the GSRC Silverado. Atlanta is a fun track, very bumpy, but the drivers love it because there's plenty of room to roam around this 1.5 mile oval. For your hot lap, you're going to be swinging it right through the middle of the track here, cutting the dog leg a little bit with your left side tires, driving it down into turn 1, and you're going to lift out of the throttle from full throttle down to about 90% and then get almost right back immediately into it. You're doing that just to let the nose set on the truck so it doesn't plow off of the corner. Turn 3, you're going to drive it right in until you see the yellow sign, roll out of it probably to about 60% throttle, keeping on that white line right there on the bottom, and then back into the gas and swinging it back out to the wall. As the run progresses and tires and fuel fade off, you might see guys in turns 1 and 2 take this sort of line through here. So what this will do is this doesn't put as much strain on that right front tire, and it gives it more grip through the corner. Plus, it gives you an amazing run off the backstretch, which you could potentially use to set up a pass going into turn 3. Turn 3 still on the bottom. You will hear guys roll out of that throttle all the way out just to let it set right back out to the wall and cutting the dog leg a little bit. Atlanta is going to be a blast. The Silverado trucks will create a great draft, so you're going to see a lot of great passing, a lot of great passing opportunities, and all in all, it's just going to be a great race. So, without further ado, let's get back to the action. My name is Brian Yazik, and this was a lap around the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And that right there is a lap around the 1.54 mile Atlanta Motor Speedway, home of some of the closest finishes in truck racing, and we could see that again here this evening. A very fast and a very abrasive track that is definitely going to eat up some tires this evening. Let's take a look at the point standings. As we mentioned, we're in the final 4 of the championship run here, as we've had a 3-race series here of the final 4, and Scott Eckrich leads by 8 points. That's where we talked about if Jake Wright can win tonight, Eckrich has to finish 4th or better. Why is that? Because you get a bonus point for leading a lap, a bonus point for the most laps, and 3 for winning the race. So there's 5 bonus points out there. If Jake can get all 5, that's where the 4th or better you will get Eckrich the title. But you see Pierre Diego and also James Krahula down there. Unfortunately, they're out of the championship because not enough drivers showing up here this evening as qualifying has just begun. Now, Adam, for those who are new to the Premier Racing League and the Sportsman Truck Series, let's talk about their schedule and how it's all put together.
Yeah, the Sportsman Series started with a 21-race season, and if you were in the top 20 in points and won a race, you were in the chase. Now, 12 drivers kicked off the chase in New Hampshire, and after 3 races, there were 8. After Texas, we were down to 4 drivers, and of course, that's where we're at now.
And from there, that's where we get the Homestead, because that's where we were last week, and it's been the Scott Eckrich show. He's won 8 races so far in the season. and he won 3 of the previous 4. The one he didn't win was last week at Homestead, and basically when that was all over with, it was Jordan Hightower. I almost lost the name in my head. Picking up the win, leading 40 out of the 67 laps to win at Homestead. Eckrich did finish right there behind him in second position, but Hightower kind of breaking up that streak of Scott Eckrich wins. So tonight, 8 wins. Is he the guy to watch tonight? Is it Eckrich's championship to lose, or you think Jake Wright can sneak up there?
Well, just looking at practice times, Eckrich is just the fastest in the field by far, I think, here so far today. I mean, by the tune of about 600ths of a second as far as best practice times. Still waiting on Eckrich to get out there on the track to turn a lap as far as qualifying, but he's definitely going to be the favorite for the pole award and trying to get up there and stay up there throughout the entire race. And if he's able to build a good distance, he'll be able to keep himself out of trouble. And I just think that lead's going to be a little bit too much to overcome.
Yeah, that's why they run the race. Anything can happen, but you're absolutely right. I agree with you. I think Eckrich is the guy to watch tonight. He's got the fast times there in the Hi Mom truck, as I joke around and call that, because that's what it says on the side of his truck. But yeah, Jake Wright's got a chance, and that's what he's here to do. If he can get out there and win and something happen, it could be as simple as a speeding penalty that takes Eckrich out.
It really could. And don't forget, I mean, you're going to have the once or twice here on pit road, depending on how cautions fall and fuel consumption and stuff. But with the 60% fuel tank, I mean, this is going to be a race where you're going to have to hit pit road a couple times. So not only you talk about speeding penalties, but you're having to talk about trying to nail the entry, which Atlanta isn't exactly the easiest place to get onto pit road. So you're going to have to think about that, and maybe something can happen there. But He'll have to start up front, and I think, to try to limit the worries of everything else. And he's on the track right now. You see him. This is probably going to be one of the faster qualifying laps, so we're going to see how he does.
Yeah, as you see the I'm on TV mom truck, that's what I was trying to reference with the yellow paint scheme there. I believe that's a dog on the front of his truck on the hood there. Or is it a cow?
I was going to go with cow.
Is it a cow?
It's a cow with sunglasses, with heart sunglasses.
That's a pretty cool paint scheme if you ask me. But Scott Eckrich here, not P1 right now. It's actually James Grahula P1 as we have started the Savage Spinners pole qualifying right now underway.
Yeah, he's getting ready to move up right here. You kind of try to run qualifying a little bit more almost like a restrictor plate, and you start that first lap really up high, and then bring it down. And wow, James Grahula sitting on a provisional pole so far. Scott Eckrich turning in the second fastest lap.
And Eckrich all done. It looks like there after that run, he'll start P2, or unless somebody qualifies better. Now, Atlanta, Adam, is a track. We talked about the tires a little bit here, and I know the weather's going to be tricky. With it being 65 degrees out there, track temp at 91. Are we going to see the top come into play? Because usually Atlanta is one of those tracks you start at the bottom and migrate your way up by the end.
Yeah, tire wear is definitely a big thing here, and that just kind of necessitates almost having to move your line up a little bit. I mean, Atlanta, where it's situated, at least climate-wise, you have hot summers, and you can sometimes have cold winters with a little bit of snow, stuff like that. It's very abrasive for this track surface over the years, and it hasn't been repaved. I don't think since it's been a couple years since it's been repaved, and the age is starting to show. So it chews up the tires, and they really have to start to adjust their lines as the race goes along.
And it looks like qualifying is all over with. The Salvage Spinners Pole Award winner going to go to James Grahula, one of the guys who unfortunately is going to be out of the championship run tonight, but still a pretty fast lap, 29.348 second lap. Let's take a look at his run. That's going to give him the pole award in the 24 car, but definitely a little bit of an upset, if you want to say so, at the start, as he pulls away the AdvoCare truck. It is AdvoCare week, so why not go put that truck on the pole? And that's exactly what he's done with the Salvage Spinners Pole Award. You see, it's just like you said, hold it wide open and put it right down on that white line.
You really have to. And of course, you'll have to start to massage the throttle a little bit when you get a little bit closer to the end of the run, especially out of 4. But it's going to be interesting.
And you're seeing, looks like Grahula wrapping up his lap there, but either way, a very fast lap, 29.348. That just shows you the speed that this truck can put out. But that's not going to be the times that go and get you a win later on. It's going to be how consistent you can put the truck. You see, you get up there on that high side, get the run off the corner, and then bang. But running an 82 lap race, it's not going to be the fastest lap that wins. You got to be consistent.
Now, and the good news here is that the track's nice and wide. You got a lot of room to race each other and everything else, and hopefully try to keep out a little bit of trouble. So hopefully the cautions will be minimized. One person might want to see a caution or two, though, is going to end up being Jake Wright, running second in the championship, though. He just doesn't want to be a part of it, but it looks like he's going to be starting pretty deep in the field here with James Krahula on pole and Scott Eckridge on that provisional second.
Yeah, you mentioned that. It looks like 12th for Jake Wright, as you see Krahula wrap up that lap, 29.348, winning the pole. Scott Eckridge going to start out there on the outside, and when you look at it right now, it's a 20-point lead in the points because you put a point per position. There's a 10-point separation. Actually, if I do the math and carry the one, it's actually an 18-point separation between the two at the start of this race. So already, Jake Wright starting in a pretty big hole.
Yeah, and you have to think about that, though. Now, how aggressive does Scott want to be at the start of this race? Does he want to try to have a really good start of the race, maybe try to force the issue with James Krahula and be able to lead that lap right off the bat and get himself a little bit more cushion between him and Jake, or does he settle in and just let things play out? Because he doesn't have to force any issue right now. He's got a really nice big gap.
And that is a very fair question. When you look at it, Atlanta's one of those tracks, it takes pretty much the whole lap to get up to full speed in these trucks. So the bottom line is going to be the fast way to go, especially in a turn one on the start. So Eckridge is going to have a little bit of a disadvantage. You're going to have somebody like Tommy Ryan who's starting there in third. Yeah, Yazik there in fifth. He's going to want to move. You could see 2 or 3 trucks get by Eckridge right here at the start of this race, and it's going to be the same back there for Wright in 12th. He's going to be on that outside line.
Yeah, pretty much. So we'll have to see. The start of this race, though, that's really going to be one of the more interesting parts, and have to, see who forces the issue. Who's going to let Scott in? Is anybody going to let Scott in? But that outside line, you're right. That could be a little bit of a detriment to you right off the bat. But at the same time, Scott Eckridge is good enough. He might be able to hold the line up there.
And it's going to be a very fun race to run tonight. 82 laps and 125 laps. It is the AdvoCare Rebuilt Champions 125 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. If you're following us on the GSRC YouTube channel, want to chat it up tonight, feel free to do so. I do have the chat open here if you have any questions about this league. I know we've had a couple of their broadcasts here, and I know we've done their Grand National Series that you'll see tomorrow night going for the championship here at Atlanta, and of course the Cup Series with Yazik and the guys. They have their finale coming up this week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but feel free to ask any questions you want to this evening, and we'll have some fun here as we wrap up the next couple minutes here of qualifying left. 125, 124 now left. Adam, what kind of expectations do you have tonight? We got 24 trucks going to show up tonight, and you got a field that kind of wants to carry some momentum into next season.
Yeah, and that's how, just about everybody except Scott Eckridge and Jake Wright are going to be looking at this race is wanting to build momentum and, of course, wanting to come up here and, end the season on a very, very high note. So, how are some of those guys up there that can pull off a race win going to be racing around the championship guys? I think that's going to be a story. You see it in the real world all the time with chase drivers and non-chase drivers and everything else. Well, you got your 2 guys for the championship here. What's going to happen?
Very fair points, but I think if you go out there and do what you did in the season, that's kind of how I always look at it. Yeah, I mean, I bring up the race today with Harvick. I mean, everybody was like, well, Harvick's up there racing with the guys just like you would in any other race. I think that's what you do tonight. Race like you're going to in any other race, because if you do something different, then all of a sudden you might make a mistake and cause something, and you don't want to do that. So I've always been the guy that believes in just do what you usually do in the race, and that's what they'll adjust from that.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, don't be like Cole Witt in the, Grand National Series yesterday. Don't stay out on old tires in front of them. Sorry, had to bring that up. I know Cole Witt's a good driver, but man. Anyway, so that'll be something to watch. I think that either way, it's going to be exciting. It usually is when you have a championship like this, and for some reason or another, those championship guys in these type of situations in any series usually end up right next to each other, going for it right at the end of the race.
So with that said, qualifying is over, and the winner of the Salvage Spinners Pole Award is James Krahula. As we take a look at the starting lineup for this 82-lap race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the AdvoCare Rebuild winners 125. Krahula on the front row. Scott Eckridge looking to wrap up the first Sportsman Truck Championship. He'll start on the outside of row 1. Adam?
Inside of row 2, Tommy Ryan, a guy that'll race you hard but clean. Mark Allen on the outside of row 2 in 4th.
Brian Yazek, as you hear him a lot here on the Global Sim Racing channel, going to start inside of row number 3 alongside Troy Haight.
Drew Carroll inside of row 4. Outside of row 4 belongs to Ryan Howard.
Not to get confused with the baseball player. Woodrow Mahan going to start on the inside of row number 5 alongside Tony Schoen.
Tommy Amassi will start on the inside of row 6. Outside of row 6, your other championship contender, Jake Wright.
And Wright starting there in the 12th position. Big Joe Hassett there in the 13th spot alongside him, Steve Ritter.
Inside of row 8, DJ Beverly. Outside of row 8, Don Runkle Jr.
Mark Nobert going to start there in the 17th position. Ricky Harden going to start there on the outside of row 9.
Yeah, row 10 belonging to Dan Murray and Brad Collins.
And these cars all did not run qualifying laps from 18th on back as we look at the rest of the grid. Rick Thompson, Johnny Brugg, Adam Blatto, and John Wilco will wrap up the field here as we get ready for, again, 82 laps, 125 miles as we get ready to crown the champion in the first Sportsman Truck Series season. At 30 races deep. Obviously, it's been the Scott Eckert show for the most part of the season, but there's been some great races throughout, and I think we're going to have another one here this evening, Adam.
Absolutely, and we keep bringing up Scott Eckridge and Jake Wright saying that they're the championship contenders. Once they take the green flag, I think that's going to pretty much completely eliminate James Krahula and also James Krugel and Pierre Daigle, which I don't even see Pierre here starting today from the championship mathematically. So that's why, if you've been following this series, you know that there's 4 championship contenders, but we are down to just 2 once they take the green flag.
And that's only because of the size of the field. So it looks like officially, if Daigle's not here, which he's not, as you said, it looks like we'll see James Krahula will finish 3rd in points, Daigle will finish 4th. So it's pretty much down to the top 2. Now, with that said, if something were to happen to James Krahula and he happens to win this race from the pole here, and then something happens to our 12th place truck of Wright, there is a chance he could lose 2nd in points to Krahula. So that possibility could happen still.
Yeah, which, that's part of the reason it's still worthy to keep our eye on James Krahula, but unfortunately, the big one, numero uno, is going to be out of reach for him. But either way, he's still going to go hard here. He wants every spot he can get.
82 laps, 125 miles, as we get ready to crown a champion in the Sportsman Truck Series in the Premier Racing League. It's time to go racing. Atlanta Motor Speedway, the finale's underway. Krahula on the inside. Eckert's on the outside. Tommy Ryan there trying to get a jump as they race down to turn 1. Krahula going to get that inside line rolling.
And Eckert's going to sneak in there, closing that gap right there between Krahula and Tommy Ryan. He's going to squeeze right in there, running in 2nd. He's looking on the outside now of James Krahula, maybe trying to just say, hey, I'm still here, man.
And it should be pretty much wide open through 3 and 4. The first side-by-side battle going to be back here for the 5th position in the 86 truck. That is Drew Carroll looking to the inside of the 19 of Mark Allen.
Yeah, pretty much single file for most of your top 10 now. These guys just going to try to settle in, click off a few laps here right at the start of the race. Nobody really trying to make too much of a move. Although Eckridge is looking at, kind of just trying to show himself in James Krahula's mirror still, but not really making a solid statement just yet.
I'm watching this dogfight back here in the 12th position. Right in the middle of this is Jake Wright. Look at this mess. Joe Hassert's in this. Tony Schoen in this. We got 2x2 for about 5 rows of trucks, and yeah, Wright is in this.
And not exactly where he wants to be right now, that's for sure. He wants to try to get out ahead of the pack like that. But, the question is was going to have any kind of help to do it. Draft plays a big role here at Atlanta.
For the lead. Here comes Eckrich. Made a look, not able to make the pass, though, as Krahula holds him off and kind of a little bit of a block there. Got to be defensive on that inside line.
Yeah, always paying attention to what the spotter is doing. I think that was still just one of those moves that he's just letting him know he's still there, just kind of trying to size him up right now. You can tell Eckrich definitely wants to try to get up there to the lead, get that bonus point for leading the lap, but not want to force the issue to do it. Until now, James Krahula is going to slide to the high side. Scott Eckrich on the inside as they head to the line. It looks like Eckridge, I think he got the lead right there. Oh no, he was short by 0.02 of a second there at the line from getting that bonus point. But he's going to take sole possession of first as they head down the backstretch.
Unscheduled pit stop for Big Joe Hassard. He's on pit road in a 1 truck. Not sure what happened to the M&M's truck. He's got some heavy damage on the left front, and he is not happy from what I'm seeing in chat.
Yeah, not happy with DJ Beverly for some reason. See if we can take a look at that here in just a minute.
And no caution came out, but Eckridge to the lead. Krula in the grass a little bit as Tommy Ryan's going to try the high side. Going Kyle Larson on him here. Not able to complete the pass. You got Yazik there in the 4th position. You got the 86, Drew Carroll. He always runs well in the 5th position. Troy Haight there in 6th. Ryan Howard, Mark Allen, the top 8. They're separated out. And then you got Woodrow Mahan there in 9th in that second group.
Yeah, I've gone back and I looked at, it was a little bit of contact with Joe Hassard and DJ Beverly, and it looked like Rick Thompson in the Air Force truck got picked up a little bit with that as well, but not really sure. That looked more like a racing incident to me.
Ryan trying that outside again for second, not able to make the move, but I am watching Jake Wright making moves. He passed the 31 truck of Tony Show just a minute ago. Now he's on the inside of Woodrow Mahan. This is for the 8th position, so Wright trying to knock off some positions in that blue number 27 truck.
Yeah, so far up the front, though, Scott Eckridge not able to run away with it at all just yet. We were talking about that draft right before that incident, right before that pass for the lead. That'll help keep these trucks, they punch a big hole in the air. It's kind of a little bit of an equalizer, but not able to run away from Kahula just yet. And now we got a pass for third. Ryan Yazik taking it away from Tommy Ryan.
If Yazik going to bring Carroll with him, Tommy Ryan going to fall to the backside, it looks like, of this pack. And again, you don't see much rubber on this track, so the bottom line is the way to go. Now, with these tires wearing out, I wouldn't be surprised to see this high line come to work here in the next 5 to 10 laps. But the one thing we need to point out, Adam, we mentioned this at the beginning of the broadcast, 60% fuel. So they're only going to go about 30 to 35 laps most in the gas tank. So you're going to see at least 2 pit stops here.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that so far we haven't seen a yellow. I'm not really expecting a lot of yellows today. Atlanta is one of those self-cleaning type of racetracks that things will just kind of, clean themselves up, and maybe you won't see a yellow. But Brian Yazik getting a little racy here now, looking to the inside of James Kahula.
Yazik bringing his A game tonight, moving to the inside for the 2nd position, bringing Drew Carroll again with him. Tommy Ryan up there on the high side, Kahula up there on the high side. These guys are here to just win it when it's all over with, and move Yazik up to 2nd and see if Carroll can follow him to 3rd.
Might as well. Carroll doing a great job hanging on to Yazik's coattails right now, and not seeing that high line coming in just yet. But of course, I imagine that might change here as they get deeper into the run. We are still only now 11 laps into this thing.
Riding on the tailgate of Yazik, you see Drew Carroll right up on him. Thankfully, these trucks have a lot of downforce, and these trucks won't get too loose like maybe a Cup car will in high racing. But then you see, look at Kahula with a crossover. I think we just came up with a term, the Kahula crossover on the inside of the 86 there for 3rd now.
Don't let that get to his head.
Almost.
Man, I don't think you could have stuck a piece of paper between the two of them there, between Drew Carroll and James Kahula right there. That would have been a disaster. But they avoid disaster, and they're able to keep on trucking.
12 laps in the books already out of the 82. Everybody pretty much single file as I'm working my way through the field. Your first battle's back here for 14th. Ricky Harden in the 15 looking to the inside of DJ Beverly. That's your first side-by-side battle. And then you got, I should stand corrected, actually, the 05 there. Imasi is the guy on the outside. Beverly's there behind him, following him through. And you see that pass and move the 15 up to the 13th position. Now we move up here a little bit. Everybody pretty much single file, just kind of riding, logging laps again, about halfway through the fuel tank now. And you wonder how these trucks are driving. Usually with the less fuel, you get tighter trucks.
Yeah, we're just now starting to see some fall off too with the lap times. Scott Eckridge's fastest lap was the 5th lap. Around the time that he was thinking about trying to take the lead, it was a 29.392.
Oh.
Caution's out.
The 83, Mark Norbert, is around on the front straightaway. The batteries and bulbs truck has got some heavy right side damage. Don't see anyone else in it. Maybe looks like a single car accident of Mark Norbert. Going to bring out the first caution.
Yeah, it looked like he got into Adam Bledel a little bit, and that threw him into the wall, and then Don Runkle Jr. got a piece of that as well.
Oh, yeah, you see just got pushed up a little bit there in the 83. That's hard impacting the safety barriers. But first caution out this evening here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and I don't see anybody a lap down, but we'll take a look at that. But first, what we'll do is we're going to step away. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back, and we'll see some more racing here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Global Sim Racing Channel. And back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the AdvoCare We Build Champions 125. We had a pit stops there under caution. In the end, Brian Yazik wins the race off pit road, a pretty fast stop. Eckerts did come out in second. Drew Carroll going to be in third. We didn't have a Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog in that caution because the only car that was a lap down is Joe Hassert, and he is behind the wall in this race. So had 24 cars start, or 23 start. Johnny Brugg did not take the green flag. 22 trucks on the track officially now.
Yeah, and of course, two incidents so far with DJ Beverly and also with Joe Hassard a little while ago. And then that most recent caution there are so far the only real incidents in this race. So, you know, pretty clean for the most part, but pretty tight racing as well, especially up at the front. They've been really kind of picking their battles wisely here so far today.
And that's what it's all about, is just, you know, picking your battles and figuring out when you got to race. I mean, you're only 17 laps into an 82-lap race, so, I mean, you got plenty of time. You got to get to the finish. I always say it, you got to first finish to finish first. And that's what situation here has allowed us to have, is some good racing so far, but the one caution, 3 leaders, 3 lead changes in the race so far, is Brian Yazik leading his second lap right now. They should get the one to go this time by. Scott Eckerts leading 11 laps so far, and James Krahula running in 4th. He has led 4 laps this evening. But the one thing I did mention is, you were talking about it right before the caution came out, the tire fall off. They only had lost about a tenth or two in lap times in the first 12 laps of that race, which kind of shocked me.
Yeah, the caution came out at exactly the right time, because I had actually just started noticing just a little bit more than that. You know, probably about 0.3 on Scott Eckert's best lap time right before the caution came out. So it looks like these tires, where the real fall off happens, is right about that 12 lap mark, and then that's when they're going to have to start being careful. But they're going to head down the back stretch. We're going to take the green again, and I guess we'll have to start to count on that 12 laps over again.
It's almost like a caution clock, but we don't want that. We like green flag racing here on the Global Sim Racing Channel, and I'm sure the Premier Racing League guys do also. But there's the HPPsimulation.com number 55 of Brian Yazik right there in the lead. You got the I'm on TV Mom Chevrolet on the outside of Scott Eckerts with the cow. You got the 86 truck there in third. That's Drew Carroll, and then the AdvoCare number 24 of James Krahula. That is your top 4. In 5th place there, the 99 of Tommy Ryan. So let's see how this is going to go. Pace truck, as one truck is actually smoking towards the back there. I think that's Brad Collins. I'll have to see who that is, but pace car's off. Yazik going to take him back to green as we go back to racing on lap 19.
It's actually Rick Thompson, I believe, for earlier from damage with that incident between BJ Beverly and Joe Hassard.
Rick Thompson cranking up the barbecue in that 76 truck. Tough break for him. He's actually already a lap down as Yazik gets a pretty good lead and a good start on the 70 of Eckridge.
Yeah, that's about the biggest lead that we've seen out of anybody all night, right off a restart, no less. I'm still trying to get over Chris bringing up the blasphemy of a caution clock. Definitely wouldn't have that here. Scott Eckridge has him on the inside going down the front stretch. Drew Carroll kind of looking behind him, and then they kind of start getting a little racier behind those guys.
Hey, you can ask Ambrose when we do the Bootleg Racing League on Saturday nights. I always have curveballs ready to throw. You got to be ready to catch them. But yeah, Yazik, and you see Eckridge getting that draft. These trucks create big holes, and especially on the end of straightaways, you'll see these other trucks able to suck up on the others. And that's what you're seeing here with the 70 of Eckridge. You got the 86 of Drew Carroll looking on his way to the third position. Krahula running about a half groove up. Tommy Ryan looking to make a move.
And something happened to Mark Nobert here just a little bit ago.
Norbert was the first caution. We'll have to see something happen if he had an incident or some situation there. But looking back at the first battle is 10th position. Ricky Harden on the outside. The 07 Woodrow Mahan. The 16 Steve Ritter. It's a good fight for the 10th position. Ritter out there on that outside as Harden's able to move to the bottom. Looking at that Bud Light number 19 of Mark Allen. He is next position, but good run so far for Harden. He actually started in the 18th position, so he's already gained some 8 spots.
Yeah, Ricky Harden's a decent wheel man. He knows how to get around these places. Raced against him many times. Very, very tough competitor. That Unacceptable team also, they know how to put some pretty good trucks out there. So no surprise to see him making moves early. But even in Atlanta, though, it could be tough sometimes to gain that many positions this fast.
Yeah, track position means everything. As he looks underneath Mark Allen, going to bring Ritter with him. The 16 truck going to follow him maybe. See if you can get that run to the inside here. Should be able to hold it almost wide open. Yeah, I'm looking at telemetry. Harden didn't even lift at all in the turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, these guys will probably go, almost not getting off the throttle at all for the first 10 laps or so. But then after that, the tires start to pull off and they start having to.
And that's the thing is, when are those tires going to fall off? And hopefully they had their practice. If anything, you're going to see the fall off in 3 and 4 first. I've noticed that with this Atlanta track. 1 and 2, you're wide open about 8 to 10 straight laps, depending on how good that setup is. But then 3 and 4, it's when you're kind of lifting, especially center off.
Yeah, it's amazing. The exit of 4 feels real wide, but it closes up on you in a hurry when you got bad tires.
It's a very fun track to run, as you mentioned. Back in 1997, the track was re-paved and turned into a 1.54 mile quad oval. Used to be a 1.522 mile oval that, the backstretch was the front stretch was the backstretch. They redid the track, and Jeff Bodine ran around the speedway at 197 mile an hour, and I think until they repaved this track again will be the track record.
Yeah, that was I miss the old configuration. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, yes. 92, 93, 94, those are some of my favorite Winston Cup seasons back then. And I still can never forget, though, I think it was the last race here. I want to say the 97, spring race in 97, because they did all the work between the spring race and the fall race in 97. It was Steve Grissom in that Cartoon Network car backing it into the wall and cracking the wall on the backstretch and ripping the entire rear half out of the car. That was just amazing to me.
I do remember that wreck. It was actually, not to correct you there, but the Kodiak 41 car. The car he backed it in there with. But yeah, that was a pretty bad wreck. The fuel cell was ripped from the car and everything. You ride with Eckridge. And that's the thing about Atlanta. And those tracks, for those who maybe haven't watched, NASCAR back before 97, Homestead is the closest thing you get to Atlanta now from the old track. Basically.
Yeah, I think it was the year before that, 96, that he drove the Cartoon Network car. I had to clear that up.
He did drive it at one point.
He did. The whole 29 there. Of course, I think I was 11 years old. Of course, I'll remember the Cartoon Network car.
Oh, of course, I had the WCW car and all that stuff. But Scott Eckridge there, he's up in second. Look like just kind of riding there behind Yazik, and we should look back and try to find our good buddy Jake Wright in the 8th position. So right now, still 6 positions back from Eckrich. So right now, Eckrich is in the driver's seat to get this championship, right? Just trying to get some track position as he's trying to get to the back end of Troy Haight. That is the 7th place truck there, but that is the next truck that Wright needs to cover. You see, he's already moved up to the middle groove here, so he's trying to do some experimenting.
Which isn't bad. At least he's in a better situation overall than what he was a little while ago, which being in a pack. I mean, he'd much rather be where he's at now in case something happens. But still, I mean, everybody pretty much minding their own business right now, nose to tail. So Jake Wright does have an opportunity to try to gain a little bit of ground.
And I think we're going to have a pit stop here, maybe some short pitting going on. I think Tommy Ryan is going to be coming to pit road in 99 here. Let's see if anyone else comes. James Krahula is going to come to pit road. I just overheard it somehow on the radio. One car in the wall. I think Ricky Harden just smacked it. Right off turn 4, he just drove up and got it. As you see Krahula and Ryan on pit road, as you're going to see it on replay here. Harden, I think, just went to avoid these two.
Yeah, it just got into the wall enough. The problem, I think the more significant damage actually came from the rear, because when he slowed up, Steve Ritter got him pretty square from behind. And so a couple of trucks there ending up with damage pretty early on, and that's going to hurt, especially Steve Ritter's aerodynamics.
4 tires and fuel for Ryan and for Krahula, and we have to look at Tommy Ryan's left rear. He kind of smacked the inside wall on pit road trying to leave. That could be something to watch closely. I don't see any damage, but that could be something interesting. They'll join the pack here, but they'll have fresh tires. And we'll see if they're able to put those to work. But interesting strategy there, because you're going to have to pit still about lap 60 or so to get to the finish.
Yeah, now Ricky Harden, I guess, deciding that enough's enough. He's going to go ahead and come in as well. Might as well. I don't think he'll take this opportunity to do any kind of damage repairs, but might as well take advantage of the strategy that's apparently trying to play out here.
Yeah, get the tires and fuel there, and hopefully he didn't have too much. I still see some right front damage, but hopefully he didn't have too much there to repair in the Michelin Man. I mean, he is made of rubber.
Yeah, that way he bounced off that wall, it felt like a little bit of rubber right there. At least that's what Steve Ritter is thinking right now.
I have a feeling unless he is able to get that damage fixed, you will not be seeing the Michelin Man photobombing any interviews.
Of course, had to go 3 wide there around the slower truck of Mark Nobert. He has a little bit of damage on the rear end. Not sure why he's so off the pace, but significantly off the pace compared to the rest of the field right now. And has been for quite a while, pretty much since the restart.
Yeah, it must be just down on speed from that incident. Maybe got some damage still to fix or something going on. But the battle I'm watching now is up here in that 8th position. Got a good little fight here. Steve Ritter's got that damaged nose. He's trying to get past Mark Allen. You got DJ Beverly up in here. Also, Littell's in here and more. So a lot of good drivers in this little battle.
And of course, we've been talking about the middle of the field. Just to update you on the top half of the field. 1, 2, 3, still running nose to tail. No excitement up there just yet.
That's why we've been pretty much focusing on the middle. But yeah, Razik so far, he's led the last 18 laps of this race after winning a race on pit road. And we always joke around. Yazik and I have conversations off the track a little bit. And he actually jokes with me every time I do a broadcast on Global Sim Racing Channel for one of the leagues he runs in. He says, yep, I have an average of this every time you broadcast. And I think last checked it was like 1.75. He has 2 seconds and a first, I think, in the 3 races that I've broadcasted. So not surprised to see him up here in the league.
So the reverse of the broadcaster's curse. I like it.
No, it's still there. Trust me. We try not to mention too much about Yazik, but he did win the one of the 2 races I've done so far with him in it, or 3.
I think one of the interesting things right now is only a handful of these trucks have come in for that service. Now, Steve Ritter, I think, is going to join the crowd here as far as coming in. Tony Schoen here had a very interesting trying to get onto pit road. It's like he decided at the last second to do it. Came in really hot, missed pit entry, and he took to the grass. So he's going to have to serve a penalty.
Yeah,
for
that'll probably be a 15-second penalty or something like that. That's usually what that one is. For that kind of deal. But yeah, he's going to get a bill probably for the Atlanta Motor Speedway from that as he sits on pit road with that penalty. But I do look here, James Krahula in the 16th position now. He's the first guy that's off pit road from the guys who have pitted, and he is running, his last lap was a 29.552. The leader's at a 29.873, so about 0.3 of a second difference between Krahula and Yazik, which isn't much. So what he needs is as Woodrow Mahan goes up and hits the wall, and he's almost spinning. He's able to save it. A lot of trucks had to avoid him. Tommy Ryan goes by. Mark Allen had to avoid him too, but some issues there for Woodrow Mahan in the 07 truck.
Yeah, he had a decent top 10 run going and just gets up there, just scrapes the wall a little bit, just enough to upset that truck and really slow him down. Everybody else have to take evasive action to get around him.
And where I was going with this, though, is Grahula, he's making him about 3 to 4 tenths of a second as Mahan's going to come to pit road here. He's going to need this cycle to come through for pit stops here for him to get back on this lead lap, because right now he's still a lap down, and you're almost at a point now where you've gone a good 5 or 6 laps on these tires. You get a caution, it's going to be hard to stay out.
Pretty much, they're banking on no cautions. That's their strategy.
Yazek coming to pit road.
And this, there's that strategy trying to play out. And, we were talking earlier on about that 12 lap.
Oh, the cone. One truck spinning on pit road. The 0-2, DJ Beverly.
And day goes from bad to worse for Beverly there. That's too bad.
The yellow cone is going to be on Twitter mad as heck after that move. And I think Eckert's going to be coming to pit road next time by. But Yazek, 4 tires and fuel, that HPP simulation truck, that Tundra. And he gone. And you see Eckert's back here, the I'm on TV Mom Cow truck.
And just looking at all the guys that have gotten by them, Tommy Ryan way out there. Now, Tommy Ryan is entering turn 3 while Brian Yazek is just getting onto the backstretch and getting back onto the track. So very, very large gaps have built up here from those trucks that pitted a few minutes ago.
Which is the benefit. You see Eckert's come off pit road. You're going to see, I think, Drew Carroll going to be on pit road here. But yeah, that's the advantage of doing the short pitting that you saw Grahula do. They got the green flag run now, and they were able to get out on pit road, and you see they got a pretty big lead, and we'll get the timing here in a second. But Yazek is going to be the faster truck now once they get up to speed, and so is trucks like Drew Carroll and trucks like Scott Eckerts. Now, we should mention Jake Wright. He is still out there, and let's get on him because he might be going for the lead here. He is going for the lead, as a matter of fact, and I think he did not lead that lap. I thought he is not going for the lead. I just got mixed up with Tommy Ryan there, but he's looking on the 82 truck here on the outside of Troy Haight. If he can lead a lap, this is important.
We almost had a big incident with Scott Eckerich coming back onto the track. He was landing on the backstretch, pulled right up in front of Brad Rollins. He had to get on the radio and apologize to Brad. I guess his truck blended into the wall, but that was almost a very big incident with Scott Eckerich. Which
would have been huge, as Wright just took the lead, and he's going to get a bonus point there. So now they're even on points again. So basically right now it would be 5th or better for Scott Eckerich to win a championship, but that's if Jake Wright wins this race. So a lot of things have to happen for that to go. But if you were to look at the points right now, which obviously Jake Wright's still got to make a pit stop, Wright is the point leader.
Wright's wanting a caution. He's out right now telling the race organizers, I'm seeing debris here, I'm seeing debris there. I even think I saw somebody throw something in from the stands. He wants a caution right now.
That would be actually a very fair thing to say, but Scott Eckerich right now, he actually beat Brian Yazek off pit road. He's about a second ahead of Yazek. Eckerich in the 11th position, so Eckerich would be the leader once this all cycles through. So Jake Wright just needs to stay out as long as he can, hope for a caution as we got 38 laps to go, and anything can happen at this point, but the question is how much longer can Wright go on these tires and fuel. We went back racing around lap number 19, so we've gone almost 30 laps, so he's going to need to pit in the next 5 laps.
Yeah, we pretty much just flew through the halfway point of this race, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and I guess we should do an AdvoCare through the field real quickly as we get through the pit stops. Jake Wright is your leader. He's got a 1.3 second lead over Troy Haight there in the 2nd position. Dan Murray, 4.4 seconds back. He is there in 3rd. You see the 2 lap trucks going by of Yazek and Eckerich. Those guys at pitted, you see where the fresh tires are pouncing on that. For the 4th position, Mark Allen, the 19 truck. He is 4.8 seconds back there in the number 19 truck. Tommy Amasi there in the 05 running 50, 6.2 back. You got Brad Collins in 6. These guys, again, have not pitted in the field. John Wilco there in the 7th position there in the number 64. He's 10.5 back from Jake Wright. Don Runkle Jr. in the 8th position. He is some 11 seconds back. And then you get the first of the trucks that have pitted. James Grahula in the 9th position, some 26 seconds back. He, again, first one off pit road. He would be the leader, actually, when this all cycles around. Tommy Ryan in the 10th position. He is the last truck on the lead lap as of right now, some 27 seconds back from the leader. There's Scott Eckerich He's going to go past Troy Haight there in the second position, but Eckrich 11th right now. Brian Yazik in the 12th position. He's about a second or so back from Scott Eckrich. Ryan Howard in 13th. As it looks like Mark Allen's going to come to pit road, but he's about a second or so back from Yazik. Drew Carroll, he is right behind Howard there. That's actually a battle for the 13th position. As you see that, as Troy Haight just hit the cone going on the pit road, he might have a penalty. Ricky Harden there in the 15th position. I think I skipped Don Runkle, and I apologize for that, but Don Runkle was falling through the field. Looks like he's on pit road as more pit stops are happening, but the rest of the guys there, you got Littell, Steve Riddle, and Tony Show, and those guys coming off pit road. But here come all the pit stops now. But that's your AdvoCare through the field as Jake Wright's coming to pit road.
And these guys, we were talking there in the pre-race show about this can be a difficult track to get onto pit road, and that's something we'll have to watch for. So they're already seeing a number of guys having problems.
A lot of guys getting on too hot. See, and I'm going to share this because I know probably a lot of the people who race with me aren't watching or whatever, but hopefully the viewers, I can get them to sit. When I race here at Atlanta, I always use the billboards in 3 and 4 as my mark for hitting pit road. When I see the billboard and I get to it, that's when I start braking. And usually I'm pretty good at getting on the pit road when it comes to that at this track. And that's one thing I've learned to do. And you get a lot of people just go as deep as they can. And then when you got the worn out tires and all those situations, it can definitely hurt you when it's all over with. Rahula going to take the lead now as the pit stop cycle through and the caution comes out. Looking to see where the call is. Oh, it's
Adam
Blatto. The 04 truck on the front stretch sitting there. And if you're Jake Wright, you are probably saying some words you can't say on TV.
Oh, he is all started back in turn 3. He caught the apron and just fought that truck all the way through the corner and eventually came to rest on the front stretch here. This is a wild ride. He tried his best.
It's probably one of those deals where I always say he had his hands and feet on the wheel trying to save it.
It took a minimum of that.
That's one of those things, and you don't ever want to. You don't want to beat up somebody for a situation like that. You feel bad for Adam having that spin, but that's one of those deals where you almost learn to spin to the inside. Just go throw it in the grass, just so you don't have a caution. You can get back going. But nonetheless, it happened, and we got a whole new race on our hands here. As James Krahula is going to be the leader. Tommy Ryan's going to be in second now as they all catch back up here, and we'll get them all rounded up and get the field cycled out. And as we get right to the point where pit stops have just actually happened, and this is going to get interesting. Jake Wright, I believe, stayed out, and he's going to be the leader.
Might as well.
As you see the trucks on pit road, Wright did stay out. Everybody, for the most part, who did pit is going to take 4 in fuel. I don't think you're going to see 2 tires. Maybe I'm wrong. There's one truck taking 2 tires. And Tommy Ryan going to be the first with 4. That's the 5 truck that came out with 2. Dan Murray. Tommy Ryan going to be the first off in the 6th position. So the first 4 trucks are going to stay out.
Tommy Ryan, a heck of a pit stop right there. He just picked up, I think, 4 spots there on pit road and came out well ahead still of James Krahula.
Very good stop for Tommy Ryan. I know he definitely needed that in that Northern Tools truck. But, yeah, the first 4 going to be the trucks to stay out. So Jake Wright, Brad Collins, Tommy Massey, and Mark Allen going to be the 4 who stay out here. And if you're Jake Wright, you just came off pit road, you're staying out. And hopefully you're saving fuel because you got 30 laps to go, and that's going to be right at the pit window.
And we were talking about the incident with Adam Blattle there just a minute ago. I do want to point out, though, that as crazy as that looked, he still managed to avoid hitting the wall. So that was, about as good of an outcome for him as I think he can hope for there. I just had to point that out. I didn't see him touch anything, even as crazy of a ride as that was. But now we're setting up for a pretty interesting, last couple laps here. With 30 laps to go, it's entirely possible that that might be the last time these trucks see pit road. And Jake Wright right now with the track position. So with the number of trucks between him and the trucks that just got done pitting.
And not to mention, Scott Eckrich is in 7th right now. So right now, the point separation is Wright plus 2 over Eckrich, if I do the math. And of course, I'm going off my head. It's unofficial. But Jake Wright leading, and right now would be the champion if this race were to be over. But again, we still got 29 laps to go. Looks like we'll get the green with about 28 to go. And Jake Wright might be in a good spot here because he's got the fresh tires. He just come off pit road with these tires. Now Collins, Amasi, and Murray, those guys, Murray took 2 tires. Those guys I'm not sure of. It's we'll have to see how fast the 99, the 24, and the 70 can get through this field. But this definitely shook up the points a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see, Jake Wright, of course, focusing on getting as good of a start as he can to get distance between himself and those other trucks that just came down pit road. Because he was out there for just a couple of laps before the yellow came out. So he wants to get out enough of a lead that those guys burn off their tires and even out the tires before they get through traffic.
Mm-hmm. Which could easily happen. But this is the second caution of the day. And was looking to see, I believe, Mark Allen. I'll have to look real quickly. I believe it was Mark Allen that got the Coastal Safety Auditor's Lucky Dog Award. As I was looking, he is the last car in the lead lap now as John Wilco takes the wave around. So I believe Mark Allen was the Coastal Safety Auditor's Lucky Dog Award for that caution there. So either way, this is the way it shapes up. Again, if you're just joining us on the Global Sim Racing channel, you're looking at the final race for the Sportsman Truck Series Season 2 drivers going for the championship. Scott Eckrich has been up there in the front pretty much all race long with Brian Yazik and those guys, but a shake-up right after green flag pit stops sees the guy who was second in points leading this race. Jake Wright will take the green flag. You got your first 3 trucks stayed out. Your 4th place truck of Dan Murray. He is the first on 2 tires. Tommy Ryan, James Crahula, Scott Eckrich, those guys the first on 4 tires. So we're going to see how this gets shaken up really quickly. But Jake Wright, as you said, Adam, is going to need to put the pedal down and get out. And we'll see if he does that here. His pace car is going to pull off. 28 laps to go. Jake Wright going to bring him down to the green. He is on it. And we're back to racing. Murray going to jump to the outside right away on the 67. One truck into the wall hard. I think Mark Allen just knocked the wall down in the front stretch.
Yeah, bad break for Mark Allen, but what a great start for Jake Wright there.
I'm not sure what happened to him. That was interesting.
Yeah,
John Wilco's going to get a black flag because of it, but they're back here 2-3 wide. James Crahula already up the 3rd underneath the 67. Everybody, this looks like a mad mess.
Meanwhile, Jake Wright's just trying to run away with it while they're running side by side for second between Tommy Amasi and James Crahula. James Crahula now is going to clear Tommy and take sole possession of second with Dan Murray right on his coattails and Tommy Ryan not far behind them.
Yep, Murray up to 3rd. Yazik coming to the inside. You see Tommy Ryan going to go to 4th. Jake Wright is thinking Monty Python right now. Run away!
It's merely a flesh wound. Anyway, Jake Wright's continuing out there right now. His lead continues to kind of shrink down just a little bit here in the last little bit, now down to a 0.42 seconds.
Eckrich kind of caught him in a trap here because Yazik's there in front of him. As he does get behind the 05, that moves him up to 6th. So right now the point separation is about a point. Literally, it's pretty close right now between the two. Is Yazik going to look inside the 99 for 4th? And Dan Murray's going to go for 2nd on Crahula.
And don't forget, I do not think that Eckrich has led enough laps to completely secure that laps most led points. No. So, I mean, if Jake Wright somehow can hold off the charging field here, I mean, he still has a chance at that extra bonus point as well. Yeah,
right now that would go to Brian Yazik, who has led 23 laps. Eckrich has only led 12 so far. Jake Wright has led 14 laps so far this evening as Crahula does a crossover. Here's that term again to the inside of the 5 of Murray. You see Yazik going past Tommy Ryan, going to bring Eckrich up to 5th.
And that's exactly what Jake Wright wants to see in his mirror right now, is those guys running side by side. Because, I mean, they're still gaining on him a little bit, but they're using up their tires more too right now.
Right now it would be tied if this race were to end, which I'm not sure how the tiebreakers work. I'm assuming it's going to go to wins, and if I'm right, that would go to Eckrich, who has 8 wins on the season. Eckert's going to go to the outside of Yazik.
Everybody looking for every inch of room at this point. 24 laps to go. This race will be over here in the next about 12 minutes or so. So it's definitely go time, and you can tell that the intensity is starting to pick up amongst these guys.
Crahula with a run right for the lead. Drives it to the bottom, the AdvoCare truck. First on 4 tires. Can he hold off right to the outside? You see Eckrich back there on the outside falling back also.
course, now all Eckrich has to think, though, is I see right out my windshield. That's all I need. That's all I need, is to see right out my windshield, and I can have this championship.
Tommy Wright almost got in the side of Eckrich. That could have been really bad. But, yeah, there goes right back to second. Murray's going to probably get by him for second. He might even try for the lead here in the 5. Let's see how that goes. You got Yazik coming into the picture. You got the 86 of Drew Carroll. This is why Atlanta Motor Speedway brings great racing out. You're seeing it right here.
And Dan Murray is one of those guys that was a little bit on the quieter side. We hadn't talked a lot about him until this last pit round of pit stops and yellow flag. And now he's right up here challenging for the win of this race.
And you got, 6 trucks, almost 7 trucks. You count the 05 in there. Going for the win here as we come up to 20 to go next time by. Eckrich right behind Wright. If I'm Eckrich, I'm just sitting right there because I'm like, hey, I'm the champion right here, Jake. The move's on you. Exactly.
There's no reason for Eckrich to force the issue at all. Just keep him in sight. That's all you need to do to wrap this thing up and let those guys go for the win.
So Krahula, Dan Murray on 2 tires there in second. Brian Yazik the third. Are they going to go 3 wide back here off 2? I thought about it for a second, but Eckrich dives to the bottom, elevator move. He's going to get there behind the 86 and start working his way up as he's behind Drew Carroll there in the 5th position. Right all the way back to 4th. 19 to go. Who is going to win the first championship in the Sportsman Truck Series? It's all part of AdvoCare Championship Week. Of course, tomorrow night, the Grand National Series will be here on the Global Sim Racing Channel going for the championship. Finally, single file.
You're starting to see Krahula already starting to move his line up just a touch.
And that's going to happen here as they've gone about 8 or 9 laps now on these tires. Yazik going for second. A battle of the 5s. 5s are wild. The 5-5 going to second. '86 of Drew Carroll going to come with him. But there you see Scott Eckrich there in the 5th position. Jake Wright in 6th. I think if you're Eckrich, you're still going for the win, but at the same time, you're like, hey, you're right there, like we said.
And of course, with all these top high runners right now, Brandon, they're starting to settle down just a little bit, but they can pick back up again in a hurry. They'll be catching that slow truck of Mark Nobert here in just a little bit as well. So if he could come up onto him while they're all running side by side, that could definitely make things a little bit interesting.
Eckrich going by the 5 for 4th. I think I saw Yazik get a little loose and Drew Carroll to the outside. The only guy loving this right now is James Krahula. He's like, bye, guys.
Pretty much. I mean, he is just setting the pace right now with over a half-second lead over Brian Yazik.
He got about a half-second back, and then you got this pack of 6 trucks. Yazik and Carroll, and then you got Eckrich and Wright, and you got Murray and Tommy Ryan to 99. You got the 05 back there. He's trying to get up in there. Tommy Amasi, Ryan Howard, Brad Collinger, top 10.
While they're racing side by side, that second pack that's been kind of running more nose to tail, they're starting to catch this lead pack as well. This is going to open up pretty big here before too long.
Yeah, this could get very interesting. We might have a Daytona type race here with about 15 cars in one pack.
Turn 2, excuse me. Bound and back stretch in the inside wall.
Yep, I see it. It is Woodrow Mahan, the 07. He's going to keep it down against the inside wall. The MAV TV truck damaged heavy, but no caution.
Just caught a little bit of that apron, slid her down, and then used that wall to straighten himself out at the cost of damage to his pickup.
Now, if this would have been the old Atlanta truck, that would have been the inside wall of the pit road.
That's right.
Hit there.
Oh, Jake Wright has to go real wide there, almost brushes the wall, but is able to keep it out and keep it going.
As they all go by the lap truck of Mark Norbert there in the 83. Norbert in the 83. I keep thinking of the movie Norbert. Nobert. We'll get it right. But a lap truck there in the 83 staying at a high side, staying out of everybody's way, but the field's starting to kind of get sorted out. 13 laps to go. Again, the question here, and we should ask this and not overlook it, fuel mileage. How is everyone looking? Can they make it on fuel? I mean, my body says yes, but you just never know.
That's definitely an interesting question because they might have come in just before their pit window here on that last caution. So it's going to be tight. I'm feeling we're going to have a few guys that are going to be trying to run on fumes, especially the guys that stayed out. You're looking at your likes of Jake Wright. I mean, was he going to be able to make it on fuel?
And we'll have to see if he can make it on fuel. And not to mention James Krahula out there in the lead. The lead truck never gets good fuel mileage, especially on a track where you have to draft a little bit like this one. His fuel mileage might not be so good. Yazik maybe not so good right now as he's trying to catch up with the 24. But these three trucks are catching the leader. About a half-second difference right now. Last time by, looks like lap time-wise, 29.804 to a 29.860. So Krahula is holding it on his own there by himself.
And it's the power of just three trucks getting together and just running nose to tail. Now that everybody else is trying to string out, now that things have calmed down, you're starting to see the difference between one truck running alone and three trucks running behind. This isn't Daytona, this isn't Talladega, but you can still run a little bit faster running in a group as they are.
Jake Wright falling back another position. Going to lose a spot to Tommy Ryan, move him back to the 7th position. So now he's watching that championship kind of slide out of his hands, and I should give a shout-out to Bighorn16 on our chat page who corrected me. It's not the movie Norbert, it's Norbit. I should have known that.
I'm guessing you're an expert in corny movies.
Yes. I watch plenty of those kind of movies. I like what I call stupid funny movies.
There you go.
Just watch out for Rasputia. James Krahula with a half-second lead over this pack of three. Yazik trying to catch him.
I'm thinking now that group of three right there, Yazik, Carroll, and Eckridge, they might run out of time here. They're gaining on James Krahula, but they're not gaining fast enough. This race might be over by the time they're able to get to his back bumper.
Hey, 8 laps to go this time by. The only thing that Krahula doesn't want to see is that little yellow hanky in the flag stand. Krahula on this season does have 5 wins. He is the next guy behind Scott Eckridge with wins.
Of course, he doesn't want to see it unless he can't make it on fuel.
Correct. As I look at the truck season schedule for Krahula, as he comes to get 7 to go, he has wins at Talladega. He won earlier this year, New Hampshire, Chicagoland, also winner at Michigan on the schedule. So he's won plenty of these intermediate style tracks. And also won at Kansas. So, yeah, he's got 2 different wins on mile-and-a-half tracks tonight, trying to make it 3. But Eckridge looking to wrap up that championship here. He is. He's like, hey, I know I might win a championship, but I want 3rd. Look at the inside of Drew Carroll, and Carroll put a little block on him. Should mention that Ryan Howard, the Tide ride, able to get past Jake Wright back there, so move him to 8th. Eckridge up into the 86. Oh my gosh, that could have been bad. Drew Carroll got the wall, but kept it off of Eckridge. That Cal even had his eyes shut after that.
It almost knocked the sunglasses off of it. Meanwhile, that lead was down to about 38 hundredths of a second, but Krahula now, as they were trying to race back there a little bit, started to pull back away. Car in the wall there, coming out of 2.
It is Murray, it looks like. Dan Murray, but he's going to keep on going. We're at the point of no return, as I always call it, which is there's no green, white checkers as you're going to watch Murray here.
Yeah, that almost caught up Jake Wright there, so that could have had championship implications, but you're right. Everybody's able to get it straight and get it going.
Yeah, everybody's good to go. As you see right there, just knocked the wall a little bit down there at number 5. But he keeps on trucking. And, the 86 Carroll getting the wall again. And Yazik is down to 2/10 on Krahula. He gained a lot there in that lap. Yazik is coming. Did we not talk about Atlanta having good truck finishes? Here we come again. And we shouldn't leave Eckridge out of this.
James Krahula did not have a good lap last lap, and that helped Yazik suck back up behind him, and Eckridge right on his coattails again.
And he'll get the draft now as you're right on board the HPP simulation Toyota.
Oh, Yazik in the wall. Yazik in the wall hard.
Now here comes Eckridge. These trucks getting really tight now.
I honestly think that Eckeridge has just seen what has happened to the guys around him. I'm hoping Eckeridge backs off a little bit, thinks big picture here. Let Krahula have the win. Don't push the issue.
Yeah, that's put the racer mind in you now. Are you really going to do that?
No.
Okay, just checking. But 2 laps to go for Krahula. Got about 0.6 of a second now on Eckeridge. And he's going to be coming to the white flag. The final lap here in the Sportsman Truck Series season, where we're about to have a champion crowned. Off of turn number 2, about a 0.5 second. Eckeridge can just kind of ride his way to the championship from here. James Krahula looking for win number 5 on the season. As you got one truck smoking up ahead here.
Ricky Harden smoking.
Shouldn't be in the way as the AdvoCare truck comes off turn 4, and he's going to win the AdvoCare 125. James Krahula, his 5th win of the season, and Scott Eckeridge, your first champion of the Premier Racing League Sportsman Truck Series season. Brian Yazik going to finish 3rd. Drew Carroll going to be 4th. And Ryan Howard going to be your top 5. And a great finish to the season. Congratulations to Scott Eckeridge, and hopefully we'll get these guys into our chat, and we'll talk to those guys and wrap up the season here and get you ready for what's coming up tomorrow night and more. But first, we'll step away as we get to victory lane and to the championship stage with Scott Eckeridge and James Krahula as you're watching the Premier Racing League on the Global Sim Racing channel. Back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, where tonight we have crowned a champion in the Premier Racing League Sportsman Truck Series. Tonight that champion is Scott Eckrich, who came out with 8 wins in the end, and by my count, he should win the points by, looks like 13 when it's all over with. But the final standings, James Grahula did win the race, the AdvoCare truck winning the AdvoCare 125 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He wins it over by 7 tenths of a second over Scott Eckrich, Brian Yazik finishing third, Drew Carroll, Ryan Howard, your top 5. Jake Wright, Tommy Ryan, Brad Collins, Dan Murray, and Tommy Imasi finishing in the top 10, Adam.
Yeah, bringing her home in 11th here for today was Steve Ritter, Tony Schuh, and bringing it in 12th. 13th, John Wilco. 14th, Mark Allen. 15th, Troy Haight. 16th, Ricky Harden. You saw him smoking there on the last lap. Adam Bladdall with that incident on 17th. Don Ruckel Jr. bring her home in 18th. 19th, Woodrow Mahan, who also got caught up in an incident. And Mark Nobert, who is able to bring her limper on around, coming in 14 laps down in 20th.
Yeah, the rest of these trucks finishing behind the wall. In the 21st position, DJ Beverly had that issue early in the race with Joe Hassert, and then also had the issue with the yellow cone and the pit wall. But unfortunately, had a bad night. Rick Thompson finishing 22nd. Mentioned Joe Hassert 23rd. Johnny Brugg did not start the race when it was all over with tonight. As we are down in victory lane, let's talk with James Grahula, who's got the AdvoCare spark spraying around here, and my eyes are already burning. Thank you, James. Appreciate that very much. But 5th win of the season. You finish unofficially 3rd in the point standings. You got to be pretty happy about that. 5 wins this year. A pretty good season for you.
Yeah, we had a dominant season. That the chase is what it is, and the first 2 races of this round didn't go our way, so we were eliminated before we even had a chance to race out here tonight at Atlanta. But still, we came out and we did exactly what we needed to do, what we've been doing all season. Led the most laps, won. It was great to come out here tonight. I feel that Atlanta is the proper track to the host the season finale, and it puts on great racing, and I felt that we had that here tonight.
He did a great job tonight, 28 laps. Let's go back to those pit stops around lap number 30. You came to pit road, you short pitted. Talk about your strategy behind that move.
Well, and I think that we are actually going to wind up being in trouble with that, because I think some guys were able to make it, but we were planning on that. We didn't think that we could make it on fuel. So we came down, and we weren't going to have too much, too many laps on the left side. So we just came down, took 2 tires, and it was working out well. And the caution kind of flew when it did, and we restarted 6th, and we were able to get up there to the lead somehow. And so, I think that it just was, we had a good strategy, and then after that we kind of lucked it out, and we're able to race for it.
And one of your strong points on the season in the trucks was the 1.5 mile, 2 mile tracks. We were looking at your 5 wins. You had a win at Michigan, win at Kansas, also win at Chicagoland, and now the win at Atlanta. Talk about what made you so strong on these 1.5 miles.
That's a good question, because I'm not really too strong at those tracks, but I guess that we did all right at them this season. So I don't know. I'll take a win wherever I can get one. And so, Atlanta, is a special place, and I'm really happy to have gotten a win here. So this one definitely means a lot. It took us a long time to finally get in the victory circle, and then we were able to win a lot from here. And we just weren't, other than tonight, we really weren't hot when we needed to be.
Well, still a great run for you. Congratulations in victory lane for the 5th time this year. Get some momentum. Get ready for next truck season, and I know that's going to make you proud. But feel free to send a shout out to whoever you'd like to.
Yeah, gotta plug the page, Unacceptable Racing. Go follow us on Facebook. I think Ricky is actually able to do the shout out Friday, and so he was on a local radio station over there in South Carolina. So they probably had a few more viewers there, but I'll get my plug in as well. GSRC, thank you. I know this is only our 3rd race in the truck series this year. I think that we have hopefully up to 23 races with you guys here next year that I'm really looking forward to. You guys have done a great job here with our Truck Series, our Grand National Series, and our Cup Series. We'll be here the next 2 nights here on GSRC. Tune in at 9:10 p.m. Eastern for the Coastal Safety Autos Grand National Series. tomorrow night, and then again on Tuesday at the exact same time. It's AdvoCare We Build Champions Week. Gonna crown 3 champions tonight, and I'll see you guys back up here in a few to crown that first champion.
Absolutely. James Grahula in Victory Lane, the winner of the tonight's AdvoCare We Build Champions 125. And Adam, I believe you have caught up with, well, we'll have to see what kind of mood he's in, Brian Yazik.
Yeah, of course, Brian bringing her home in third for today. An eventful last couple of laps for Mr. Yazik there. Brian, you're really trying to push it there at the end, caught the wall a little bit, but you did have a good running going. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a great night for our HPPsimulation.com Toyota. Typically, I don't run the Toyota, but when I went to join the session, it auto-selected the Toyota, and I went, we're just going to run with it. So, we had a great truck. It really, really hooked up and led a whole bunch of laps, and that part was cool. But drifting it through turn 4 there on the apron, I think that's kind of what killed my whole night there.
You know, of course, a little bit of pit strategy started happening there about halfway through that race. What was your thought behind it? And I guess one question, too, we had along with the pit strategy is how close were you guys going to be at fuel there at the end of the race?
With the pit strategy, we were all right. I mean, we were, that last caution, I think I was maybe 2 laps to the good. When we came off pit road the first time and I was in the lead, I was trying to save enough fuel under caution, maybe try to stretch it to 1 lap or, to 1 stop, but that wasn't going to happen. So we just kind of decided, hey, let's try to split everything up and see what happens. So that was really that. I wish it was some kind of big scientific formula, but it really wasn't.
I get that, and of course, you've had a pretty decent season here for the Sportsman trucks as well. Anybody you'd like to thank here? Of course, you already got your sponsor in. Anybody else you'd like to thank here before we send you off?
Well, no, actually, this was my only race this year. Fair
enough.
and I want to thank my girlfriend because she wanted to watch The Walking Dead out in the living room, so I decided to retire to the office and decided to run a race. And I thought we were going to come in and hit it right out of the park and do it one for one for the year. But James puts on a heck of a league here. You guys for broadcasting, and unfortunately, this 3rd place finish now brings my average finishing position with Chris Scala down to 2nd place. So that's that bums me out a little bit, but. No, all in all, great. You wanna go get yourself a set of good pedals? Go to hpp.com, hppsimulation.com. You want to get some good jerky? Go to houseofjerky.net, simracingapps.com. I think that's about all I got there. So,
Now, Yazik, I will step in real quick and say you can blame Adam for that. He mentioned the curse, not me.
What did he do?
No comment.
Oh, son, you're going to learn really quick. You don't talk about the curse.
You're going to learn today.
You're going to learn today. No, but that was cool. Shout out to James. Congrats to Scott bringing down the championship. That's pretty cool, and I know he's got one to chase down Tuesday as well, and see if he can go 2 for 2 on that one.
All right, well, hey, thanks, Yazik, and appreciate your time, and I guess we'll throw it over to Chris with Scott.
Yeah, we actually have both James and Scott in here with us, as James obviously is the guy that puts the whole show together in the Premier Racing League, as he's done a great job this year. And, of course, we crown a champion when it's all over with tonight, and that first champion is Scott Eckrich. It is AdvoCare We Build Champions Week here. And, Scott, we're going to hand over to James here for the crowning of the championship.
This is Scott Eckrich, 25 starts on the season. 8 wins, 17 top 5s, 18 top 10s. Hold on, there was another one that I wanted to look at as well. 14 poles this year, and he led 878 laps. Wound up winning the championship by 12 points over Jake Wright. We here at the Premier Racing League will be presenting you with a plaque for your championship, and I would like to officially crown you as the 2016 Premier Racing League Sportsman Truck Series champion. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you. I would congratulate you on your win tonight, too.
Well, Scott, I know that's got to be a proud moment for you. Is not only are you on TV telling Mom that, but now you can tell Mom you're a champion, too.
Yeah, I thought about changing this game for tonight for a special telling Mom about the championships game, but we didn't quite have enough time.
Well, you can say that for Daytona in February, but a couple times it looks like the Cal was just closing his eyes. I know there towards the end of the race, you and the 86 had a close race there as you took third from him, but you had to have a little bit of nerves in you tonight, knowing that there was one point when that caution came out right during green flag pit stops. You're sitting back in 8th, Jake Wright in the lead. It's like, oh my, what just happened?
Yeah, it's definitely a little worrying when you're looking at the point battle and you're on the outside looking in, but we figured, we had a nice, looked like we could have a nice green flag to the end with a full fuel strategy there. So we're pretty confident we could get back, around at least enough cars to get there.
Now, Scott, you were carrying a lot of momentum into the season. I know last week you finished second at Homestead and then, of course, second tonight. So you finished with 5 straight top 2 finishes. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's that's pretty cool. That, of course, would have rather had a couple victories there, but we'll take them what we can get here. They're just glad to come home with the championship.
So now that you are a champion, you get the chance to go for a champion coming up Tuesday night. But we'll look at that on Tuesday. But talk about what you can do now to back up this championship next season.
Just do the same thing we did this year. Come in, try to come up with as many victories as we can. With the chase format being a little different for next year, we'll definitely have to be a little more conservative. It's not so much wreckers or checkers type of situation, which the chase kind of breeds there. So pretty much the same plan. Just back it down a couple notches and get those average finishes up.
There you go. The goals of Scott Eckrich, the champion tonight. 8 wins, getting himself the first Sportsman Truck Series championship in the Premier Racing League. Scott, go ahead and send a shout out whoever you like to.
I'd like to thank the guys that stuck with me all year and helped this championship along the way from the very start. Steel Horse Racing and our manager Jason Swan.
Well, Scott, congratulations, and if I may request a present for your truck or something, maybe for winning the championship, maybe get a necklace for the cow. That would be cool.
Will do.
All right, Scott, congratulations on your championship, James. We turn back to you as you get ready for 2017.
Yes, we will be back here for 2017, again here on Sunday nights. And hopefully up to 23 races here on the Global Sim Racing channel that we're really looking forward to. 31 races next year. We will have 3 10-race segments, and then, of course, the season finale and the season-long championship will wrap up again here at Atlanta. We're really looking forward to that. Sign-ups are open. Please go to www.premierracingleague.com. Underneath info, you'll be able to find the sign-up for 2017. And I will actually make sure I'm giving you guys the exact link. But yeah, under League Info, 2017 League application, go and sign up. We will be glad to have you guys here. We're really excited. We're gonna, I think we're going to a couple more road courses. Of course, with Dirt confirmed, we'll be going to Eldora that we're very much looking forward to. It's going to be a really great season. We have another great short track in Southern National coming on the schedule. Watkins Glen. It's going to be a very fun year. I hope you guys come and join us for 2017.
It's going to be a fun one, and James, we appreciate you allowing us to be on part of it, part of the broadcast here for the couple races we did this year, and we're looking forward to the rest of what this AdvoCare Championship week has, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the week.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on 2017.
Absolutely. James Carhula, the winner tonight at Atlanta, and also the guy who runs the show around here in the Premier Racing League. But just a final real quick mention with the championship points. Scott Eckrich wins it by 12 over Jake Wright, 30 points. James Carhula back in third. Javier Daigle and Don Runkle Jr. actually going to be the top 5 in points. So, Adam, I know we got to do a couple races this year, but this race tonight in Atlanta brought it all. Brought some pit strategy, had some action, some cautions, but when it was all over with, the champion crown and a great finish.
Yeah, and it was an exciting race to go along with it. It never settled down up front. There was always cars within a second of each other. Great competency as far as the driving talent, of course. And PRL always puts on a good show no matter what the division, and that really helps, makes our jobs easy as far as trying to call these races.
Oh, it is, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of this, and we're looking forward to the fun with the rest of the week and bringing the show here on the Global Sim Racing channel. So if you watch tonight the Truck Series, get ready for the Grand National Series tomorrow night, and then of course on Tuesday night the Cup Series. Should be a lot of fun. But Adam, I appreciate you coming on with me, and we look forward to working with you in the future, bud.
Yeah, you too, Chris. Has had fun tonight.
Absolutely. We'd also like to thank the Premier Racing League Sportsman Series for coming tonight and putting on a great show. I'd also like to thank the makers of the various software and hardware that you see on your screen. Thanks to Dougie Beard, of course, Joe Peak, the man that keeps me in check, and others also. But Adam Young also for their hard work this evening. If you'd like to find out more on the Global Sim Racing channel, just go to globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also join us on Twitter at GSR Channel and on Facebook, facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. Also, thanks to Eric Eckholm and Casey Lalonde for providing us with the music. You can check out how to contact them right there on the screen. Eric's on the left, Casey on the right, just in case you didn't know. But also a reminder, tomorrow night you can catch the Coastal Safety Auditors Grand National Finale from Atlanta Motor Speedway starting at 9:10 Eastern Time. Make sure you're there tomorrow night. Don't be late, please. We just want you to be there on time. That's all we ask. Until next time, though, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.